All right, we are live on Facebook. Hope you guys are doing well. Just give me a half a second. I'm going to quickly share this over to Twitter for anyone who wants to tune in there and let everybody know we're doing a live update. Winter storm recap on Facebook Live. And sharing it over, and away we go. Hey, I have good news to report to you guys. That would be the fact that we actually don't have terrible roads, all things considered. Hi Thomas, how you doing? Sally, hello to you as well. Driving in to work earlier, I actually thought the roads were pretty bad. Driving home from work just now, I was somewhat impressed. It wasn't horrible. So we are seeing some subtle improvement as far as that is concerned. Hopefully everyone made it through the storm relatively unscathed, and it's definitely cold outside. I think at the peak there were maybe only about 3,000 power outages, and that number has since gone down. So I mean we've been super lucky. Temperature-wise though, what a chilly day. We only had a high of 37 at 1 in the morning at Camp Mabry, a high of just 38 at the airport. We also picked up considerable amounts of rain. Oh, and by the way, these numbers are actually for February 4th, looking ahead to tomorrow. But the records on February 4th of last year, 85 and 86 degrees. Isn't that amazing how warm it was back 1 year ago? And looking at the rainfall totals, we picked up in the early morning hours, remember with the thunderstorms that were super loud, Camp Mabry picked up 1.5 inches of rain. So that combined with the Monday heavy rain leaves both Camp Mabry and the airport with surpluses of rain. It's been a while since we've seen that, right? Well, and at Camp Mabry, we're now looking like we've got 1900ths of an inch as the average, and we've already seen 2.8 inches in the month of February. The previous heavy rain event happened in January, so for the combination of January and February so far, we're already over 5 inches of rain. Talk about a turnaround. So now we're looking, of course, at the bitterly cold weather, and it is going to be something that gets your attention, especially if you're out the door first thing in the morning. I've got your lows right around 18 degrees. Oh, that's so interesting. I'm just trying to start the live video from the CBS Austin feed, and it's not working. I may just have to punt. Let me see if I can do it one more time. I'm just going to push the button and see. It's giving me a message where it says starting live video, but it's not actually going, which is fine. So anyway, the big story now is that we're just going to be talking about bitterly cold weather. So calling Friday a weather alert day specifically because of the cold. The precipitation is all gone, so we're good to go on that. Single digit wind chills when you wake up in the morning. In fact, some areas have single digit wind chills as we speak. Low temperatures, I might be a little bit cold on this for Camp Mabry. I went 18 for the low. I think the current temperature is 24. Maybe it only ends up being 19 or 20, but either way, it's going to be cold. And actually, if the airport gets any colder than 20, that will be a new record low. The record low for Camp Mabry is 15. The record low for ABIA is 20 degrees. So definitely there's potential that we can see record-setting temperatures as we make our way through Friday morning. Then Saturday and Sunday looking sunny, not as cold, but we will see this whole thaw, freeze kind of cycle. But I would say based on just my short drive home, the bridges and overpasses are still very icy and treacherous, but only if you're trying to do like figure eights or something like that on the roads. If you're just keeping it straight and narrow, there's ice between the lanes, there's ice on the shoulders, and on bridges and overpasses, there was actually ice on the surface of the roads. But, you know, just don't switch lanes when you're on a bridge or an overpass and you'll be good to go. Everything else was pretty dry. So I know a lot of people were concerned. And there was that report in our 10 o'clock news of a 14 car accident. Here's a look right now at our Round Rock Honda Cam, and you can see traffic is sparse. That's something I noticed, is hardly anyone was on the roads tonight. But this is I-35 near Old Settlers Boulevard at Round Rock. And you can see a tractor trailer there. I think that's the thing that probably is the most daunting to me, is as I was heading home, there was, for instance, the one time when I did see other vehicles on the road, there was a truck that was going like 30 on a street where the speed limit is 60. And I wasn't going to go 60, but I kind of wanted to go like 40. And this car was going 30. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm going to have to switch lanes. And that meant I had to drive over a little bit of ice. It was all fine. But I think being cautious is better than not being cautious. So it all worked out in the end. But I hope you all didn't have any issues on the road. Skippy, I've missed you. I haven't seen you since earlier today. We have a skipper sighting. So there was no allergy report today for obvious reasons, because obviously the ice closed most businesses, including the allergy office. So there was no cedar count. And now it's probably a frozen cedar tree out there. Ewok! You want to hop up here? We got double doggies. Come on up, honey. Come on. Good boy. Good boy. Oh, we got a Mr. Ewok here. Come say hi. You say hi to the camera. Ah, there you go, Ewok. Seriously, I haven't seen these boys in a long time. I left the house at noon, so it was a long day. There you are. Were you a good boy? Yeah, Daddy told me you did one little naughty thing. Apparently, he left a present because he didn't want to do his thing outside because it's cold. And so he came up here upstairs and he left a present, didn't you? We don't like it when you do that. Not at all. And then he looks at you like a little cute Benji, and then your heart melts, and then you forgive him. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so let's talk about the rainfall totals. The corridor that saw the thunderstorms overnight last night into this morning, there were some spots that saw a good 1 to 2 inches of rain, and that was on top of the heavy rain that we saw back on Monday. So, I mean, that's why it's been so abundant across the area. All right, so now let's talk about the upcoming cold temperatures. I'll take you through latest computer models with the hourly forecast, and also kind of do a quick little recap. So, National Weather Service collects all the observations from different reports, from social media, from storm spotters, etc. Ice, up to about 1/3 of an inch was reported. Incidentally enough, there was more ice in San Antonio, which reported 1/4 of an inch of ice, and more ice in New Braunfels, which reported 2/10 of an inch of ice, than here in Austin at Camp Mabry, which recorded, I think it was 0.13 inches of ice. But across the Austin metro, there were certainly some spots that picked up 1/4 of an inch of ice. In addition, there were several areas that saw 3/4 of an inch of sleet. Some of those included, I believe, the Georgetown area picked up about 3/4 of an inch of sleet. And then no snow accumulations that I saw, but there were several locations that reported, at least for a brief time, some flurries. So that, in a nutshell, was our winter storm. Of course, there are far-ranging issues all the way to New England right now with the same storm system. Lots of stuff. And then did you hear about the tornado that touched down in Alabama? I mean, so this is all really crazy potent weather. All right, so my forecast for the morning is 18. Here we are at 12:20 a.m. and it's 22. So, no, maybe we are okay. Initially, I was thinking I might be a little too warm, but I mean, 4 degrees, and we typically see our low temperatures around 7 a.m. Let's go with it. 18 degrees. By the way, you could see some stars outside. On my way home, I couldn't help but notice. I was like, oh, finally. So there's hope that we'll see some nice sunshine in the morning. Behind this graphic is one of the pictures I took when I was out at the pond earlier, for those of you who joined me for my little walk outside. So here's your Friday planner, 20 degrees and partly cloudy in the morning at 8 a.m. I am crossing my fingers and hopeful that we thaw out. So by midday, 32. And by 4 o'clock in the afternoon, right around 35 degrees, which is still a good 30 degrees colder than a typical high temperature for this time of year. But at least we're going to see sunshine, and we should see a whole lot of sunshine after that. So big picture for you. You can still see a swath of snow across the Sooner State and all the way north toward the Ohio Valley and into New York State and into New England. Now, ahead of that, we've got thunderstorms still rolling through areas of the southeast. And crazy as this may seem, I saw that there were some reports of icing taking place down in deep South Texas. Look at this, even some snow showing up near Corpus. Um, and I did see that North Padre Island was down close to freezing. So, yeah, quite the storm system, that's for sure. All right, we're going to zoom in, take a closer look at those temperatures. It is now down to 16 in Doss. You're sitting at 19 in Wimberley. It is 19 in Georgetown. You're down to 23 in Rosanke. It is 27 degrees in LaGrange. So this by far is the coldest that we've seen so far this season across all of Central Texas. The previous coldest for Camp Mabry was 25 degrees last month in January. So then you take into account the fact that we still have a pretty breezy wind. So current wind chills, when I said near zero wind chills, it's already that way. A wind chill of 3 in Fredericksburg, a wind chill of 5 in Llano, a wind chill of 4 in Burnett, a wind chill of 4 in Georgetown. This is not okay. You know what this does? This ensures that tomorrow the boys probably aren't going to join me on my walk when I update you guys outside. Compared to yesterday, temperatures are running 15, 17, 13 degrees colder than 24 hours ago. So in Austin, it's 22. The current feels like temperature is 16 degrees, even in the city. All right, now this is a little confusing. Winter storm warning. Typically, you have a winter storm warning when either you're expecting a winter storm or there's actual winter precipitation following. But the National Weather Service, in a weird move, I thought it was kind of confusing, decided to extend our winter storm warning and then for Fayette County, the winter weather advisory until 10 a.m. tomorrow on Friday, which I find misleading because it makes you think, oh, we're going to get more precipitation. But no, they just put this in and extended it because of the existing ice on roadways. So, winter storm warning really should be more like an ice travel advisory, but it is in place until 10 a.m. So be careful. Bridges and overpasses, from my experience coming home, were the hardest places to navigate. Peak wind gust earlier in the day was 40-mile-per-hour gust at the airport, 33 in Taylor, 32 in Cameron, so windy across the board. And we also, of course, had all those winter storm reports from Mason to Llano to Burnett to Fredericksburg, down toward Blanco, all through the I-35 corridor, east to Bastrop. You get the idea. Everybody had at least a touch of some wintry precipitation. Joyce Fisher sent in this picture of her frozen rain gauge, which had like 2 inches and some odd change from Monday, and then another 2 inches and some odd change from last night, and now it's all frozen solid. I thought that was a pretty cool picture. And then I had someone on Twitter send me this photo of their, I assume, daughter from the Fitzhugh area. And honestly, I've just been so busy, I ran out of time to put anybody else on the air today, but these two did make air earlier on CBS Austin News. I will say the morning team was on the air for 8 consecutive hours. I don't know if you had a chance to watch the coverage, but Allison Miller has been filling in all week because Avery Tomasco, who was recently promoted from weekends to weekdays, once Nicole left, Avery had his wife had a baby this week, so he is on paternity leave right now. And so Allison filled in, and she was on the air for 8 hours straight. And I know they put a lot of viewer photos on the air earlier in the day when everything was really going down. But if you ever want to submit your photos to our CBS Austin photo galleries, then you can upload them to cbsaustin.com/chime in. And if you want to make sure that you get a photo to either myself or the rest of the weather team, you can either email me individually or you can email our whole weather department, weather@cbsaustin.com. So we love your photos, and in my instance, I love your photos, and I might not always have time to tell you how much I love them, but trust me, I love them. Especially on Twitter, I will quickly retweet those as soon as I get them in. And look at this. This is across the country, and I told you that there were a lot of storm reports. 3,263 reports of wintry weather phenomena in the last 24 hours. I mean, insane. Like everybody got a lot. And if I actually wanted to dive in and show you the extent of it, like I'm going to dive right into the middle of this and we'll query just to see what some of these reports are. So just for kicks, if I want to we'll click on this little pixel here and see what it says. So in northern sections of Arkansas, 1/2 inch of sleet with around 4 inches of snow. Let's go up into Kansas. Kansas had 5.5 inches of snow. Let's go to Oklahoma City. And Oklahoma City had 3.8 inches of snow. And let's go to Little Rock, Arkansas. And Little Rock had 3 inches of sleet. That's crazy. Let's head out a little farther toward the north and east to Kentucky. 1/4 inch of ice accumulation on branches. Just for kicks, let's go see how Dallas fared. I saw lots of accidents reported in the DFW area. Let me go ahead and dive in and we'll take a look at Dallas. Social media report 2 inches of snow in Irving. Let's go a little farther south. Sleet 1/2 inch along I-20. We have ice accumulation of about 1/3 of an inch. Let's go up to the Red River and wait for it. There we go. Looks like 1 inch of snow. And then some of the heaviest snow, I saw up to 8 inches of snow reported in parts of the Panhandle. We'll go ahead and query one of these and just see how much the Amarillo area got. Let's see. Let's see. All snow. Oh, just 1 inch. I promise you, I definitely saw something that was like 8 inches of snow. I think it was in West Texas or the Panhandle at one point. Lubbock picking up about 2 inches. But anyway, you get the idea. Big time storm. Lots of people getting in on it. And then most people probably saying, yeah, we've had enough. Thanks, please. With this major winter storm, which is affecting millions of people, you can always track on our interactive radar on our CBS and weather app. So I have recently come to appreciate how nice it is to be able to check that thing. I don't even have to get out of bed to do so. You'd be amazed how much stuff I do when I'm sitting in bed looking at social media and updating weather from the comfort of my bed without even leaving it. Current wind speed still 20 miles per hour sustained at the airport with a gust up to 28. So it's no wonder that we have all these dangerous wind chills. It's pretty raw out there. And wind chill advisories are in effect until 9 a.m. on Friday. Last time we had a wind chill advisory put into effect for our area was February 14th, 2021, Valentine's Day. That was right before we had that big winter storm, as you all were hoping you would never have to repeat again. So temperatures going to be in the teens and low 20s. Winds settling down by morning to about 10 to 15. Right now they're 10 to 20. And gusts 30 miles per hour or greater. So that's all the stuff that's putting this low wind chill situation into play. So let's track temperatures from here on out. It is currently 12:19. Temperature is currently 22 degrees. So by morning, I'm forecasting 18 degrees in Austin, right here. And by afternoon, I'm forecasting 35 degrees. And let's take a look at the wind chill forecast. So as we head into the morning hours, 18 degrees in Austin with a 6-degree wind chill. And honestly, I have a hunch some of the folks in the hill country might even see temperatures a touch cooler than this just because, for instance, Fredericksburg already around 18, 19 degrees. So this may be underplaying the extent of the cold out in the hill country. By midday, still not thawing out in the hill country, but some sunshine should at least make it feel somewhat better. LaGrange, you may thaw out, Lockhart, San Marcos, Austin by about lunchtime. And then during the afternoon, we rebound into the mid 30s. But places like Fredericksburg, you may be really close to freezing. Blanco, really close to freezing. Rockdale. So there are going to be some spots that might potentially not quite break freezing on Friday, despite the best efforts that we have. Then Saturday, wind chills are no longer going to be much of a factor because we'll have light winds. So 22 degrees in Austin with a 22-degree wind chill, which will be a lot, like if you compare the two, you'll say, oh, it doesn't feel so bad at all. Now let's talk about cloud cover. Stars outside right now, mixed in with clouds. By morning, there will be some patchy clouds around, but also I think a good deal of sunshine, which you will appreciate. I think it's going to make that ice that's on all the tree limbs and branches look beautiful. It will also melt some of it, which might create some icy patches once it refreezes if there's any leftover moisture at night. Just something to put out there. Lunchtime temperatures, as mentioned earlier, 20s to low 30s. Afternoon highs generally in the mid 30s. So 60 degrees cooler than average. And then Sunday's going to be another, or Saturday, I should say, going to be another cool start. Teens in the hill country, 21 in Austin. You get the idea. So we're going to go roll through the rest of the weekend for Saturday, midday, and then Saturday afternoon. Finally in the 40s. 48 in LaGrange, 43 in Austin, 45 in Mason, plentiful sunshine. Going to be a beautiful weekend, albeit a cool weekend. So, with that in mind, by now you've probably had this drilled into you many, many times. People, pets, plants, and pipes, the 4 Ps, make sure you practice them. And then we look ahead to warmer times ahead. All things are relative though. Average high is 65. And the warmest I've got in this next 5 days is 59, but at least it won't be as bad. Let's go ahead and track it for you. Here's your Friday. Sunshine. Gonna be nice, although still cold. Looking ahead to the weekend, here we go. Saturday, sunshine, 40s. Okay, let's look ahead to Sunday, sunshine, 50s. Different computer model, same general trend, maybe a little bit more cloud cover trying to hug in on Friday. Then we head towards Saturday, cold start, milder finish. And then looking ahead to Sunday, cold start, milder finish. Overall, the trend is looking pretty nice with lots of sunshine in the week ahead. So, overnight low down to 1 in Amarillo, 5 in Lubbock, 18 in Austin, and plentiful cold. Then as we head through the day on, this should be Friday, on Friday, 35 in Austin, 41 in Lubbock, 45 in Brownsville. So even down in deep South Texas, it's going to be crazy cold. And highs versus averages are going to run as much as 15 to 30 degrees below average for this time of year. And then as we head into Saturday, this should be Saturday, not Sunday, we bounce back. In fact, Amarillo is going to beat Austin right around 51 degrees, but there will be kind of a little cool pool still lingering in here, keeping temperatures a bit cooler as we slowly but surely get all the ice melted off. So typically what will happen right after an ice event is that the sun's energy not only goes to helping warm the atmosphere, but also to melting the ice and or snow. And so sometimes that can kind of stunt or inhibit the warming process. So mid-30s may be all we can handle or muster for the afternoon on Friday. Temperature trend, still cooler than average, February 12th through 18th, which does coincide with the storm from last year, those dates. However, at the same time, it is expected to be drier than average. Fingers crossed. We don't want another one of those storms. And then we're back around to the 7-day forecast. Bitterly cold, and then we get bitter on the 18-degree low temperature on Friday morning with the wind chill advisory. And then we get better with a low of 32 by Monday and Tuesday. And then, not exactly amazing, but 39 on Thursday morning and 62 on Thursday afternoon. Finally, we're going to go through a whole 24-hour stretch without a freeze. Ta-da! All right, so we're all done. Those of you on YouTube, I'm going to take down your stream right this second, and if you want to join in on the after chat, join in on my CBS Austin, or not my CBS Austin, join in on my Facebook page, the Chicago Windler Meteorologist Facebook page.